Hi there, I'm Drew Barantini, VP of Product at Scite, and I'm going to show you a demo of how to use and search for grants inside of the Scite MCP. Now, we launched our MCP to give you access to the full range of academic literature and smart citations that Scite provides, and now we're expanding that to other data sources to help improve your research workflows. So I'm here inside of Claude, but you could do this obviously inside of other tools like ChatGPT or Copilot or any other tool that supports MCP servers. So I'm going to run a search here. I'm going to say search grants for NIH-funded research on early detection of pancreatic cancer. It's going to talk about how to sort, showing the top 10 grants, including what metadata I want to see. And I'm not saying to call this to Scite specifically. You can see that it's going to search grants through Scite specifically based off the question that I asked. It has access to that MCP. It has access to the ability to search for grants. So it's going to go and do that. And then it's going to summarize that information, and it's going to make sure that it's adapting to based on the response that comes back. So you're going to get different responses. It's going to orchestrate different calls to pull the data correctly to answer your question. All right, so now you can see that we are getting this back. It actually did some filtering to get down to the top 10, and it's showing the top 10 NIH grants by award amount. So this is showing the individual information around the institution, the award amounts, the start and end dates, if they're available, and pulling that information here. It calls out any notes and summaries here. So it's showing the total NIH investment in the top 10 around that information in the leading institutions, and information about the research approaches that are getting the most funding to fuel that information, and whatever additional context you want to provide. Now, what's interesting here is because we have access to also the large amount of literature inside of Scite and the smart citations, our citation graph are over 1.6 billion smart citations to tell you about how the research relates to one another and what that landscape looks like. We can ask it to search the literature for that same topic, sort it by supporting citations to find whatever's the most validated research, using that as the signal, and getting a sense for which of those leading institutions from the NIH grants we just asked about also appear as sources of the most cited papers. So understanding where the gaps are, seeing where there are heavily funded areas, where there's weak literature support. Again, trying to just understand the research landscape. All right, so you can see now it actually went through and made a lot of different calls, pulled back the data, and determined what to do to provide the full picture, synthesizing the findings into a report for you. So you can see top papers ranked by supporting smart citations, and it gives any callouts on information, what it filtered or what it looked at specifically. It's showing the rank, so the paper here, year, the number of supporting citations as well as contrasting citations, any senior author or lead institution information as well. So you can see the top paper here had 108 supporting citations as well as 8 contrasting, and then that is sorted down through the full list. And basically, the answer is yes, heavily funded institutions also dominate the most cited literature. And the alignment is very strong, but it says it's a bit uneven. So it's going to walk through and give that response, give you more context around the research, which is ultimately what we're trying to do with Scite, and do this with tools like searching the papers and the literature, as well as searching things like grants. So you can see where the gaps are. It's telling you the disconnects related to this, and you can go deeper if you want to. You can ask it to give specific outputs. And really one of the things that we have found really exciting about this is to be able to generate these specific artifacts that are really rich. So on scitedemos.com, we have some example artifacts that have been built with Claude, with the Scite MCP, with all of these different data sets. And you can see an example here of using this with grants information to look at a synthesis of NIH-funded programs related to the pancreatic cancer early detection landscape. So it's showing you all the investigators, it's showing you the visible funding that's available there, different clinical trials information being pulled in. This is just an HTML page that is actually interactive, so you can click around, you can view different things, you can look at specific information. And this took 5 to 10 minutes for Claude to generate. And you can do this in other LLM tools as well. We're just using Claude as an example here. And this is all interactive. So you can open these up. It can show you this information. It's showing all of that data as well. So you can look at the Smart Citation tallies here to see how the research is related to this particular grant in this particular area. So there's so much power to this that you can build on top of this data sources of Scite grants and literature and our Smart Citations to generate these artifacts. Now we're continuing to build out the Scite MCP, so please, if you have any feedback, please reach out and let us know. We're always looking to improve it and make it better to help you in your research workflows. Thanks.